want me to run wild over your misses? Just let me know.
Hot sauce on my fantasy burrito, baby. Just gotta add that to the intro.
You heard him. You heard him, folks. Luis Martinez, the Big Chief Burrito himself, is here with more of his fantasy burritos and advice for you going into week 3. So, what do you got for us?
Week three and week 4 basically is kind of like a buy low, sell high, or even sell low situation for a lot of teams. There's a lot of players that people spent a lot of draft capital on, like an RJ Harvey, like Lad McConkey, Tyreek Hill, Marion Hampton, Nico Collins, that you had penciled in ink, in gel ink. That you were going to have them as your like number 2 running back, number 2 wide receiver, flex position for the entire season. And that's just not happening right now because it's a topsy-turvy season. So my advice to you is go into your league. And one thing that you want to start doing starting week 2, 3, 4 is seeing what players people give up on. If there's somebody that got drafted top 7 rounds and they're sitting on your friend's bench, there's a good idea that they probably have moved on, you know? Do they have Marion Hampton sitting on their bench? I know I do in our league because he hasn't done shit for me in the last couple of weeks. I'm much more comfortable even starting like Travis Etienne or who I told you guys about, Tuten, farting his way into the end zone into like 3 or 4 catches, especially in a PPR league. That's definitely somebody that I told you should go pick up. There's definitely Nico Collins, like I said, Marion Hampton, Tyreek Hill, Lad McConkey. I don't think their struggles are going to last the rest of the year. So if you have them on your radar in your league, you should go out there and try to sell low, buy low, and sell high on a couple of people as well. You might want to put an offer out there to the owner of Jamar Chase because he might be feeling a little heat now that there's a switch at quarterback. Although, maybe it's a 75% that we would have gotten. But still, Jamar Chase, Nico Collins, Marion Hampton, Tyreek Hill, Lad McConkey. Go after those players because I do feel like they will have great impact during the fantasy playoff. I told you guys about Bashal Tatum. Of course, I tell you guys about players that you can actually pick up. When I told you about him a week and a half ago, 2 weeks ago, he was available in most leagues. Now he's picked up everywhere. What can you pick up now? These are players that might be available in your league that might help you, all right? If you need tight end help, Jawan Johnson is the tight end to go get from New Orleans. Great amount of volume, great amount of targets. I told you guys about Fanning from Cleveland, and he's been doing it for the last 2 weeks as well. PPR leagues, you might take a look at Hunter Renfrow. Carolina is putting up a shit ton of garbage points, meaning they're down by 30 points in the fourth quarter and they're just chucking it. And Hunter Renfrow in PPR leagues could benefit from a lot of garbage time points. He's going to be somebody that's going to look like he got you, 3 points in the fourth quarter. And then all of a sudden, Bryce Young starts to look halfway decent at the end in these drives when the defense is slacking and Hunter Renfrow catches 3 or 4 passes in a drive, and all of a sudden you have a decent fantasy lineup. Troy Franklin is somebody that got picked up in most leagues, but might still be available some places. And then you got your deeper leagues. What are we streaming this week if we're doing a streaming QB, streaming defense? Russell Wilson, let's ride. Stranger things have happened, like Brenton Strange taking a lot of targets that were for Engram this year and making something happen with it. Strange things happening in Washington where running backs keep dropping like flies. And all of a sudden, a guy like Chris Rodriguez, who was basically thought of as like a scat back, but then somebody who was like maybe getting a lot of run, and then all of a sudden there's these other guys. Eckler gets all the run, but Chris Rodriguez is all of a sudden a dart throw that you could put into a flex position and might get some run. And then your last position dart throw, because Daniel Jones do be chucking it sometimes, is Indianapolis and Alec Pierce. Other players that you might want to have to sell low on is like a Caleb Johnson from Pittsburgh, because I don't think Pittsburgh's going to give him more than 2 to 5 touches every week. RJ Highware in Denver is looking tough. And for our betting slip, we're going to go with 3 straight weeks in a row with Zachariah Ertz catching a touchdown. I've said Zachariah in our group chat two weeks in a row when he catches that touchdown on Sunday morning. Can he do it 3 weeks in a row? Give me a Zach Ertz anytime touchdown for the betting slip. Give me those as my fantasy burritos for the week. Those are your high and low candidates. I'll send you my picks. And I got one other thing for Mr. F. Scott. Which is, it's a double-double. It's a double-double for us this week.
Oh, shit.
Means our fantasy team and our real-life team are playing with each other.
Fuck Scott. Yeah, I like that.
So, my proposal for Mr. F. Scott, if he is down to do this, is if there's a double up, meaning the Jets beat the Bucks and my team beats his fantasy team, or the Bucks beat the Jets and he also beats my fantasy team, we have to give up one of our top wide receivers for the lowest scoring player on the other person's team for the week.
Whoa.
So if it doubles up, I want Roma Dunze for my lowest scoring wide receiver. And if he beats me and the Bucks also beat the Jets, then he can have his boy toy, Emeka Ojibika, whatever the fuck his name is, for his lowest scoring wide receiver of the week. Or Nico Collins, whatever his choice is. Maybe Nico, since I was talking about, because I do have wide receiver university. Anyway, I'm laying down the gauntlet with F. Scott this week because we're doubling up. So Jets versus the Bucks.
I will take it to him. I'll facilitate it. So just to get it clear for everybody, if one of those losses happens, like let's say Bucks win, but you beat him in fantasy, it negates the whole thing, right?
Yeah, but it's got to be a sweep. It's got to be a gentleman's sweep.
That's what we do. Okay.
Yeah, that's how we do it.
Yeah. All right. Well, I appreciate it. You heard him, folks. That's the Fantasy Burritos right there for you. We'll get his picks, and we'll throw those into the Ricks versus Gricks later. Luis Martinez, thank you for making an opening cameo.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'll go through it because I'm a man of my word.
You heard him.